And what is going on? It's the Burger and Badass Show. We're back to do it again like we do every Wednesday night. And Badass, I'm telling you, I'm excited. We got through Rival Week last week, and now we're going into Championship Week, which is going to be really exciting.
How about them fucking Tigers? Fuck you, Gamecocks. How do you like that 56-7 ass whooping? Fuck y'all.
Whoa, Badass. We got a lot to go over before we get to our picks this week. We have a lot to talk about.
All
yes,
right.
Clemson's going to be one of the things we talk about.
All right, I just want to make sure you fuckers out there know.
I know. You're excited.
Oh, yeah.
Clemson whooped that ass.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that.
All right.
But we have a lot to get into before we even get into that.
Put the chain on the dog.
Yeah, put the chain on.
All right.
Contain yourself a little bit.
Got this.
We good?
Got this.
All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is Rival Week last week. Man, what a Rival Week it was. I mean, it was... You had some blowouts. You had some real close games, some upsets. One of the ones that I want to talk about first was Kentucky upsetting Louisville 41-38 in double. I'm sorry, not in double overtime. It was in regular time to drop them out of the playoff chances.
I can't believe that shit happened either, dude. I really can't. But people going on this Kentucky shit about Kentucky's going all the way. Hold on.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And win a game you did. So you just put the brakes on that playoff shit. But hey, good fucking job against Lamar Jackson. He fumbled that shit right there at the goal line. I mean, honestly, Kentucky, hats off to you. Y'all showed up to play that asshole. And you know what? You got something in common with Clemson. A team much better than you. You beat Louisville.
And you know what surprised me the most about this game is you expect Louisville. I mean, I know every week in and week out, you know what we say about Kentucky?
Yeah, I know.
They're a basketball school.
And they are a basketball school.
And then sometimes in football, they show up and they show out. And they beat a top-tier team like they did with Louisville.
They have a Stoops there at head coach. Every once in a while, a Stoops is going to pull it out. You'd figure we'd learn this shit from Oklahoma in all these years. Eventually, those sons of bitches do pull one out the hat.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, and then sometimes, you know, you win the game, but you barely win it. You know, you win it by a field goal or something. And it's something that you expect to blow out, like this game, and it turns into you either win it by a field goal or a touchdown, barely beating them, or you end up losing the game like Louisville did.
And you know what? Let's also not forget here that they were the heavy favorite. Nobody really actually thought Kentucky could pull off a victory. I mean, there was people taking the points, obviously, but I mean, really, be honest, you know, don't sit here and say, oh, I know, unless you really are like on recording, like you've actually got it documented week to week that you say these things. Other than that, I mean, you didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. I mean, Vegas obviously didn't see it coming, not with all the points, but hey, that shit happens. That every once in a while, they are fucking wrong. I mean, they can't be right all the time.
They can't. So the next game I wanted to talk about was a really big game. Had definitely playoff contention, your probabilities to it, and that was Ohio State beat Michigan in double overtime, 30-27, and it was ended on a controversial play.
And not to mention the fact that that was the first overtime in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That was the first overtime, and they went to 2 overtimes. But let's see what old fucking Hardballs has to say about it.
The officiating, I'm bitterly disappointed with the officiating today. That spot, the graphic displays the interference penalties. The one not called on us, on Grant Perry, clearly was being hooked before the ball got there. And the previous penalty they called on Delano Hill, the ball is uncatchable and by the receiver. See, I'm bitterly disappointed with him. In the officiating. Can't make that any more clear. It was not, my view of the first down was it was that short.
He was obviously pissed.
Oh yeah, he kept it pretty contained, but you could tell he was pissed. He had that grumpy, angry sounding in the voice, but he wasn't pissed off like yelling.
By the by, he was right though. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be one of those whiners that's constantly whining about shit after the fact, but let's face it. I mean, there is some truth to some of the things that people say. Right is right. If it's not, then what the fuck are we doing here? And I honestly thought Michigan was going to win that game. But, they also always tell you in big games, like Jimmy Johnson always told them Hurricanes in the day, don't leave that shit in the hands of the officials. Just roll in, whoop their ass, and then just, send them packing in their own house. That's the way you handle business.
And that's why he won a championship there.
Damn. Listen, that's the formula. You show up, you play the game, you win. That's what it is. I mean, you don't. What the fuck is the point if you're not even going to put in effort? You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. So let's talk about some of the other games in the rival week. We had Washington dominating Washington State 45-17.
Yeah, that was a beating.
We had Alabama beating Auburn 30-12.
Yeah, I at the beginning of this season, I thought Auburn was actually going to, hey, they might actually give Alabama a go. But you know what? It's just looking like that you can give Bama a go for a quarter, but once they figure you out and settle in and adjust, it's game over for pretty much everybody that's facing. The only team that held them in check and actually gave them a badass game was LSU.
Yes.
And that's a big rivalry game. But LSU gave them all they can handle, but LSU still couldn't score a fucking point.
I know. So, some of the other games I want to talk about, we had, of course, now we can talk about it. I'm letting the chains off the dog. Clemson destroying the Gamecocks 56-7. So,
yeah, that's right. Fuck you, Gamecocks. All that shit talking before the game, all your freshmen running those motherfucking mouths, talking all that, oh, we saw Clemson on the film, they soft. You know what I saw on the film, on the game? I saw Mike Williams carrying one of your defenders 10 yards into the end zone on his back. Like, I think your boy wanted to ride the machine that's outside the grocery store, so he threw a quarter in Mike Williams, and he got to have his ride. And if you didn't notice, the other defender was just standing there looking stupid. Like, he was just in awe of what was just fucking happening. You got posterized. You got your ass whooped. I mean, you're lucky you even scored a fucking touchdown. You scored a touchdown because your receiver threw it to another fucking receiver on a trick play, and you got that because you got a fucking stupid penalty right before it. Because before all that shit, I think y'all were getting your fucking asses beat. So let me give you that one again. Courtesy of Dabo and company, motherfuckers.
all right, so a couple of things I want to talk about in that game. First thing was, I didn't get a chance to watch that game, but I did kind of keep with it on my ESPN app. And from what I saw, they didn't take Watson out until they were up 49-0.
Yeah, they let the boys stay in and show off. I mean, hey, it's the last home game against your rival. You got to show out and show out. You know what? You assholes in Columbia ought to just be thankful we didn't fucking score any more than we did. You know? I think you ought to be thankful. Because by God, if we really wanted to, I think we could have hung 77 on your ass. And could have just blew you all the way back to Columbia and past that. Hell, we might have blown you to the fucking coast.
You are just wound up, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, man. Fuck them Gamecocks, dude. You don't understand. For a Clemson person, this is a big deal. For all y'all non-Clemson people, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, but this is a big deal. We had to spend 5 straight years hearing their bullshit. I had stupid rednecks coming, hey, boy, huh, waving their 5 fucking fingers in front of me going, waving their hand, because looking at me, look at my thumb, because I was like, wow, y'all dumbasses can count to fucking 5. That's impressive. I mean, why did it take you to the 4th grade to learn how to do that, you cousin fuckers? All I can tell you is this, fuck your streak, it's over. Muschamp is not the answer. He's just a good recruiter. He's only a fucking DC at best. Y'all are going to be in the toilet for a long time, so I hope you get used to that orange and white being all up in that ass.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to some of the other games in the week, because we can sit here and talk all night about Clemson whooping the Gamecocks' ass.
You don't want me to do that.
I mean, we could, but
You don't want me to.
it just wouldn't be that interesting of a show.
No.
Actually, it would be, but we wouldn't get to our picks, and we'd be 8 hours in.
There's other work to be done.
Definitely. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the other games that happened. We had Penn State beat Michigan State 45-12, and Penn State are who we thought they were.
They really were. I mean, I wish that I could bring up a really good clip for all you guys on here. The whole Dennis Green bit of him saying they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. I mean, that is a great clip.
It is.
Because let me tell you something. Michigan State showed up to play up until Penn State just started hammering them, and it didn't stop. Because I was watching a little bit of that game, and I was like, this is competitive. This is competitive. Wham, brick wall. Penn State just took over, and I just remember shaking my head going, well, it's looking like it's going to be a beating, and then I'll be damned if it did not be in a beating. It just looked like Michigan State just gave the fuck up.
It did. And I mean, Michigan State, again, is that team I told you about that some weeks they come and look like they look really good, and they win, or they end up coming close with a good team, or they play a good team like Penn State and they get blown out like they did.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It just seems like Michigan State, they are tough. They can play people well, but it also seems like once the chips are down, they check out. It's over.
All right, so another big game, Florida State upset Florida 31-13, which is a big surprise to me because I figured Florida would win this game, but Florida State would keep it competitive. But it was totally just Florida State right from the start to the end.
I figured Florida would keep it competitive on the defensive end. The defensive fronts were pretty good. They had no answer for Dalvin Cook, and that's the thing about Dalvin Cook. He's not going to carry the ball 25, 30 times a game. He's not a horse. But what he is going to do is he's going to check into the game 16, 18 times. He's going to get the ball, and if you don't block and you don't tackle and you don't take the angles correctly and you're not prepared for him, he's going to bust off 10, 12, 15, 18, 20 off to the house runs, and there ain't nothing you can do because he can run, and he's shifty, and he's got great balance, he's got good vision, he can run the ball. The thing is when he's on the field, you must make sure you keep him in check because if you don't, you're going to have a long day. And listen, he's done it to everybody he's played. Even in our wins against him as a Clemson man, I've watched him still run right through a defense because he's that good.
Oh, definitely.
You will see him in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hopefully he'll get picked up by a pretty decent team and not get put on a crappy team like the Browns or the Jaguars, where his talents are going to be wasted and not used, and he'll end up getting, traded onto another team or maybe not even playing anymore because if he does decent because his O-line doesn't block for him in the NFL, nobody's going to want to pick him up, and he'll just become one of those has-been players that never made it.
Call me crazy, but I think he'd do pretty well up there with Matt Stafford in Detroit. That's just, they don't have a running back up there.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. All right, so another game I wanted to talk about last week, West Virginia, Country Roads, coming in and just absolutely annihilating Iowa State, 49-19.
That was a beating, and you know what? You didn't get to do your John Denver singing the week before, but hey, there's next week, right? And there was next week because y'all handled business. You're still a great team. You're definitely not making the playoffs, and you know it. But you guys are going to a great bowl game, and I'm fairly confident that no matter who your opponent is, even if it's a equal or better team, your chances of winning are pretty good because West Virginia shows up in big games. They show up. Every once in a while, they get beat down real hard in a good big game, but everybody does. But as a majority, they do show up to games.
I mean, could you see like a West Virginia, Louisville, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, something like that?
West Virginia, Oklahoma State would be pretty good. I could see that.
How about Louisville, West Virginia?
That would be a good game as well. I mean, given the fact that Lamar Jackson's on the downward, he started out hot and now he's not doing so hot, I think West Virginia could actually play them a very, very good game.
All right, so the next game I want to talk about was Air Force upsetting our boys in blue, Boise State, 27-20. And I'm just really surprised at this game.
Oh, no! We suck again!
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's Air Force. and Boise State couldn't handle Air Force. And it's like, y'all regularly beat better teams. It's fucking Air Force.
It's one of those games that you scratch your head on. You're like,
No, it's one of those games where somebody got paid to take a shit and Vegas got rich. There is no other explanation. Boise State, that is like Alabama losing to Delaware State.
it is definitely.
It's fucking, it's unreal that it happened.
Yeah, you're just shocked by it. You're just like, how did that just happen?
Like it didn't happen. Like it's fucking fantasy land.
You're gonna wake up the next day and it's gonna be like, oh no, Boise State won 27-20.
But no.
Nope, not a dream. So, another game was a chance. I would say is what I would say is a nail in the coffin for Coach Kelly and Notre Dame. USC just comes in and destroys Notre Dame 45-27.
And everybody saw that coming from a very long way. But I have to say that Notre Dame, y'all are in shambles. Your program is just falling apart. Your head coach, I think, just doesn't give a shit anymore. And it's just looking lights out for y'all. So y'all need to do something.
Oh yeah, so real quick before we get into the last game for the last week I wanted to talk about, I actually called into the local radio station around here, WCCP, to old Fat Lip Tula, his show in the afternoon. And I asked him, I said, do you feel like Les Miles would be a good fit in Notre Dame? And he kind of told me, he was like, Les Miles will be a great fit, but Notre Dame usually goes for not the high-profile coaches. They go for more of the regular coaches, something like what you said last week, a chance of Western Michigan, their coach coming there. He said that on air, that Western Michigan coach was a probability of going to Notre Dame being next coach. But he also said that he felt Les Miles would be a good fit for him because he'd come in there, he'd turn the program around. He's looking at a new offense. Right now he's trying to mimic. He's good at recruiting. I mean, you say Les Miles and Notre Dame, they're coming there to play.
He can actually get talent there that normally never would have thought it. Now, granted, you're going to have the grades to get to Notre Dame. They're not just taking anybody like SEC schools. No offense, but y'all don't have the standards that Notre Dame do. But if Stanford can recruit really good football players, Notre Dame should have no problem with that either. And you get a name like Les Miles in there, yes, it goes against your traditional grain, but you also immediately, the immediate impact from people knowing that Les Miles is going to Notre Dame, that has implications to fuck up the draft boards in ways you just don't know, because everybody that was committed to LSU, that shit is done in jeopardy. And he has a complete lock on that. I mean, he could be gone from LSU for 10 years and still be taking their recruits at will. Because he's Les Miles. He's got good rapport with these people. So, Notre Dame, if you're out there listening, I done told you once, I done told you twice, motherfucker, I'll tell you again until my fucking face turns blue. Les Miles is what you want. Because it's immediate impact and it's long-term success. You will actually go back to winning games. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that. I mean, they're going to go from winning 4 games like we did this year to winning 9-10 games next year.
Do you want USC and Stanford pushing your shit in all the time? Is that what you want? Because if so, keep doing what you're doing. Hell, at this point, anything is better than what you're doing because you guys were expected to be in the Final Four this year. The preseason had you way up there, and then, man, did y'all take a shit.
I mean, you can't even argue with that. I mean, this season has been shit after shit after shit. And it's gotten worse and worse. Kind of like, the 49ers this year. It just keeps getting worse. They keep losing, and it just keeps getting worse. And you ask, when does the bleeding stop? When does it stop? Because you get to the point you're like, as a fan, you get frustrated because you're like, man, I want my team to do good, and this sucks. And we have a good coach, and we have a pretty good squad. I mean, like you said, we were ranked in the top 10 in the start of the season. And then all of a sudden, we lose the opener. And we lose another one. And we lose another one. And another one. And then finally, we just go on a losing streak.
Then you lose defensive players. Then you have scandals.
Yep. I mean,
It was just nonstop this year. Y'all had no chance, honestly.
All right. The last game I wanted to talk about before we move on was Georgia Tech. And I know your wife is going to be really mad about this, but Georgia Tech beat Georgia 28-27.
Yeah, I'm killing myself too, because let me tell you, my wife's not happy. Because, it's one thing when they lose, but to lose to Georgia Tech, that's just, ooh. And you got to remember, too, that, under Mark Richt, that didn't never happen. That's the one thing that didn't happen, and now it's happening. And now Kirby Smart's not looking like such a good pick. And I'm going to go ahead and call this and tell you this right here and right now, and you can mark it. Badass of South Carolina has said this. Kirby, you lose to Georgia Tech next year, you might not have a fucking job. That's no joke. Those Bulldog alumni are not going to take that shit. They can understand you losing to an SEC opponent. They can understand you maybe slipping up, not winning an SEC title when you ought to. But losing to Georgia Tech, that's just unfucking acceptable. So you better get your shit together.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, he can't have shit like that happen. And you keep doing that, eventually you're going to lose the faith of the alumni. And they're going to say, all right, we want to change. And you're going to be out of a job. Kind of like what Kelly's going to be this year.
It seems like Dabo is the only coach that survived losing to his rival multiple years in a row, and no one was even budging. They didn't even consider getting rid of him. A lot of people were like, oh, God damn it, fire Dabo. And no one was listening to that horse shit because they saw the writing on the wall. They saw the bigger picture. And now, aren't you glad we didn't, you fucking dumb idiots out? All you fucking Dabo haters out there that are, oh, man, I can't take this. This some bitch sucks. Do what? You fucking idiot. He doesn't suck. I'm sorry. We're only going to national titles. And chances are good we go back to this one. We might win this motherfucker even against Bama. You think I'm crazy, but it could happen. So, yeah, no, Dabo sucks and all that bullshit.
You want to hear something even funnier? Again, I was listening to WCCP. It was actually the day I called in. And somebody called in and said, could you see Dabo going to Notre Dame and coaching Notre Dame? And I was just like, are you kidding me?
Hell no.
He's happy where he's at. He's made a home here, and he loves it here. I mean, anybody who lives in South Carolina knows this. It's a beautiful place. I can't deny it. I used to live in crappy Delaware, and now I moved to South Carolina. I am so much happier. It's beautiful. Mountains, fresh air, no crap. Just the good life.
Dabo is not going to Notre Dame.
I thought it was funny. I'm even a Notre Dame fan. I laughed at that because I was like, are you kidding me?
If Dabo is going anywhere, it's going to be to Alabama when Nick Saban leaves. And that's about it, because that's where Dabo is from. He's an alumni. He was on the championship team in 92, if I'm not mistaken. He's got ties to Bama, and believe me, it would be Bama, but anyone else, it's not even a money thing to him either, because if you don't know, Dabo is a character person. He really is.
All right, so let's look at the top 10 playoffs. Number 10 is Oklahoma State. Number 9, Oklahoma. 8, Colorado. 7, Penn State. 6, Wisconsin. 5, Michigan. 4, Washington. 3, Clemson. 2, Ohio State. And number 1, Alabama. Were there any big surprises in there?
No, not thus far, no. But there is going to be, if Penn State wins their championship game, there's going to be a whole lot of drama, because then you have to ask yourself, are you really going to let Ohio State sneak over them on strength of schedule? Because heads up, Penn State would have an extra victory. Yes, they have another loss, but they want, listen, how are you not even going to play for your championship, and the team that could possibly win it has already beat you, and then you're going to sneak by them into the... I mean, I'm sorry, that's just some fucking bullshit. To me, if Penn State wins, they should be in, because they proved when they played them that they were the better team. And if they win their championship, I mean, motherfucker, what else do you want them to do? Do you want them to like fucking call down Jesus from the fucking heavens? I mean, what do you want them to do?
I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, it's very interesting looking at this top 10 this week because you have teams like Oklahoma State and Oklahoma 10-9. They're playing each other this week. You have Colorado playing Washington in the Pac-10, Pac-12 title. I'm sorry, Pac-10 title. I'm sorry. We had Wisconsin and Penn State playing. Clemson's playing Virginia Tech, and Alabama's playing this week against Florida. So, I mean, there's a lot of big games this week in the championships that's going to make it very interesting.
Yeah, this is very true because if any number of these top tier teams go down, then you're talking about bedlam. You're talking about people not knowing what to do then. Because, I mean, right now there's only one kink, and that's the Ohio State, Penn State kink. But, you know, Clemson goes to losing, or Alabama, God forbid, Florida somehow upsets them. I mean,
you still can't take Alabama out of it.
And that's the thing. Alabama could lose this weekend, and they'd still probably be number fucking one. That's how fucked up this whole shit is.
It is.
See, all you people who bitched about the BCS, go fuck yourselves. Do you see how fucking convoluted this shit is now? Because humans had to get involved. We used to let a computer fucking do it.
You know the best way to solve this all? 18 playoff.
Fucking 18 playoff, yeah.
18 playoff. None of this would matter. Because all the teams that were there after this week would belong there.
And not only that, there's a really good measure to what Berger is saying here, people. Because at 8 teams, that's pretty much the cutoff. If you're the top 8 teams, you have a right to say, hey, I can be there and play for it. If you're number 9, too fucking bad. You know what? You weren't good enough because those 8 teams can actually make for a good tournament. Because I personally like to see a number 1 play at 8 because 98% of the time the one's going to win. But every once in a while, that scrappy little shit-eating bunch 8 comes to play and knocks Big Boy out of the fucking dance. You know what I'm saying? It would make it more interesting.
Yeah, I definitely I agree. And the funny thing is you listen to the radio stations around here, and they're talking about the same exact thing we're talking about. If it goes to an 8-team squad, that's great. But then how would you seed them? Do you seed the people that won the championships higher than the people that had no championships?
You have to. It's kind of like an incentive.
Even if they've lost more games than you.
It all depends. It's an incentive system. If you get into the top 8 and you were better and you won your championship, maybe you should have the incentive of getting that. I mean, because think about it. What's the point if you can just limp in and then all of a sudden start playing? Because that's the thing. Nobody wants to do that because you don't want a chance missing the cut.
Definitely not. So, this week is championship week. A lot of good games this week. We have the SEC championship. We have Alabama versus Florida, which should be a really, really good game. I think Florida's going to definitely play them tight, but Alabama's going to win this game. I don't see Alabama having really any big issues, but it's going to be interesting to see if Florida can play that team of upset and win the game. What do you think, Badass?
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you waiting for me to give Florida any fucking hope? Nah.
No?
No, you're getting crushed. Sorry. I mean, I told my fucking boss earlier this week that we could bet on that game if fucking Florida was getting 28 points. Or possibly more. Because Florida can't score to fucking save their goddamn lives. And Alabama has just been trashing people. So no, Florida, you don't have a chance. You couldn't even fucking beat Florida State. You think you're going to beat Alabama? Even if you give them your best game, I don't think you can do it. No.
All right, so the next game we have Clemson versus Virginia Tech in the ACC Championship. I know this is a big game for you, being a Clemson fan. I know you're excited about this. I know you didn't have a chance to go to this game, but you weren't able because, having a little one, it's kind of hard to be away from her that long.
Yeah, for all y'all that don't know, I do have a 5-month-old daughter. She's a sweetheart. She's redheaded firecracker born on the 4th of July.
Happiest baby you'll ever meet.
Oh, yeah, no, it makes her daddy proud. She really does.
She loves her Uncle Burger.
And I'll have to say that if it wasn't for the fact that I'm taking care of a little one, I would already be on the train to go to this game. Because, and let me tell you something, for all y'all out there to be like, oh, well, I have to work and all that shit. Listen, I could lose my job over this. It would be acceptable. They got Clemson as a 10-point favorite, solid across the board, with the over-under planted firmly at 58. And you got Clemson, who's only got one loss this year versus Virginia Tech has three. But this is going to be an interesting game because, one, this is a night game and it's under the lights. And we love the games under the lights. Clemson always plays well under those lights. We also have some mismatch issues here because they got that Bucky Hodgins. I think that's his name. That big-ass tight end. He's like 6'8" for Virginia Tech. He's going to present some matchup issues for us because I don't really know who they're going to put on him because you can't put any of the corners. I mean, you might have to put Jadar Johnson on him and tell Boulware to take care of it, but that's the thing. You know, it's going to be a little bit kind of tricky because there's also been talk that in film they've seen 6 different looks from the defense that Virginia Tech used to when they played only give you 2 defensive looks. Now they're giving you 6. So it's kind of getting to where we're having to really pay attention to the film.
Well, I think, you take Bowler and put him off onto a tight end. Now you're taking away one of your best rushers. And you can't do that. You can't take off your best rusher that's going to possibly come in and give pressure to the quarterback, being that middle linebacker, and taking him off of them, putting him on a receiver. I mean, yes, you have to stop that guy, but if you get him in there through the line and he put pressure on the quarterback, he's not going to make that pass.
No. And make no mistake about it. Virginia Tech is not going to be scared of Ben Boulware, but they will respect the man. Nobody is going to disrespect him because if you do, that's when you get fucking slammed. Like, this shit's WWE. I love the fucking... We're going to miss him. I wish that we could fucking redshirt him like 100 years in a row because Ben Boulware is just the shit for our defense. But what I'm thinking is going to be this. We're going to see a lot of looks. They're going to see a lot of looks. There's going to be a lot of defensive stops. Their defense is going to come ready to play. But ultimately, we have the better talent. We have the better quarterback. We have the more aggressive coordinators. We have the drive. And we're playing lights out football right now, in case you didn't notice that last ass kicking that we put on those fucking cousin fucking bastards in Columbia. Don't worry, I won't do it. I'll calm down. But that's the thing. We're gonna.
I gave him that look. I gave him that look. Oh, here we go again.
But this is what I'm getting at. Virginia Tech could win this game. Do not get it twisted. They could win in an upset. But I don't think they're going to, simply because Clemson, in the end, will overload them with the talent. We will figure them out. And if one of their safeties wants to go for a ride on the back of Mike Williams, he'll gladly drag his ass into the end zone too. It don't make a fuck who it is.
All right. Our next game, we have Big Ten Championship, Penn State versus Wisconsin. And Penn State is just a hot team right now. They're playing really, really good football. And I see Penn State winning this game. I really do. I know Wisconsin's going to give them a fight, but in the end, I see Penn State definitely win this game by maybe 2 touchdowns, maybe even 3, maybe possibly.
Penn State is the hotter team. Wisconsin's got a hellacious defense. And that's exactly why Wisconsin is a 2.5-point favorite across the board. And the over-under is at 47. They're expecting a low-scoring slug-out. And Penn State is hotter. I do believe it. But you know what? I think this is where they get stopped. I'm thinking Wisconsin.
This is where their bubble gets popped.
I think Wisconsin, being the favorite, I think they're going to play good. I think that they're going to remind people that while Penn State is playing hot and they're good right now, I think this is the end of the line for Penn State.
All right, so the next game we have is Pac-10 Championship. We have Washington versus Colorado. What do you think about this game, Badass? Because to me, Washington's one of those teams that they're playing great football. They're number four for a reason. Colorado is Colorado. They've played upset a lot this year. Played some good football games. Lost some games they probably should have won. Can they play upset and beat Washington? Or does Washington just come in and say, hey, we are the number 4 team. We deserve to be in the playoffs. this is our spot. We're not giving it up, and now we're going to go play Alabama.
The way I'm seeing Colorado, they've turned it on. They're playing well. Washington has been playing well. Their defense is really good. Their quarterback has just come alive in the last probably 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And they are the favorite for a reason. They are a touchdown favorite, and they should be. I wouldn't even be surprised if it said -10. They are really good. Washington is probably going to turn Colorado's lights out.
All right. And the last game I want to talk about, like I was saying earlier, Oklahoma State. This is 9 versus 10. Now, these teams right here probably don't have a shot at making the playoffs. But they do have a chance of making a really great bowl game if they win the game. So, what do you think of this game? I think Oklahoma's a good team. Now, granted, they took a step back from where they were last year, but they're still a pretty good team. And Oklahoma State has been a really good team this year. They've done us well as far as covering the point spread. I'm not sure what their win-loss record is because I haven't had a chance to check that. But I think they've won probably 7 or 8 games this year. And probably lost only like 2 or 3 maybe.
Yeah, they've only lost 2 games.
They've only lost 2 games this year. That's not bad at all.
No.
Colorado State, Oklahoma State, they're a good team.
They are, but this is Bedlam. This is the Bedlam. You got Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma. You got the over-under at 77 and 78. It's flexing between the casinos. The point spread opened up at -14.5 for Oklahoma. It dropped to -11 across the board, so they got some equal betting on that, but I'm sorry, Oklahoma's going to outright easily win this game.
I definitely believe that. I mean, Oklahoma's just a better team.
They are, and this is rivalry game. Oklahoma State does have the potential to win this game. They've done it before, but I just do not see it happening this week. I don't.
All right, so before we get into our picks for the week, I want to talk about how we did last week. And guess what? Badass. We actually did good.
Yeah, we did.
We were 13-11 for the week, which isn't bad at all. We are now overall 129 and 143, still at 47%, which is not bad at all. I mean, we 47%, getting down to the last week of the season, not too shabby for the season.
No, we're doing well because at the beginning of it, we were up, down, up, down. I mean, our ups were really up because we were just having great weeks, and our downs were really down. We were just getting destroyed. And then it leveled out. About halfway through the season, it leveled out to where we either went 500 or better. Because if I'm not mistaken, we haven't actually had a true losing week in, 4 weeks? 5 weeks?
About 4 or 5 weeks now.
Yeah, we've honed it in and gotten it better. Because, I mean, I don't really know how else to say this, but to just say it. We are not Vegas guys.
We're just 2 guys from South Carolina.
Making our picks.
Doing what we love.
And that's it. That's what we do. No gimmick, no bullshit.
We don't go to Vegas and play cards and get up with our bookies and all this and that. We're just 2 working class guys just making our picks and having fun, broadcasting out to you guys, letting you hear us talk about the different games going on during the week.
And I don't really know how more plain it can be. I know that there's people out there that think, well, there's got to be more to it. No, there isn't. There's no bunk. It's just, it is what it is. And that is the beauty of this show. We're not giving you any falsified horse shit. It is what it is.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Week 14, this is it for us for Yahoo. Our last week of playing Yahoo, and it's been a good season, badass.
It has been a good season. It's not been too bad. But there is one thing I want to bring up, that Yahoo did fuck us earlier this season with that Tennessee shit. But we still forgive you anyway.
Yeah, we forgive you. So we have Week 14, Championship Week. We just got done talking about that a little bit. We have a lot of good games this week. Not many. We got 1 Friday game, and then the rest of them are Saturday games. Actually, I'm sorry, we have 2 Friday games. We have 2 Friday games, and the rest are Saturday. I think we only have about 16 games to pick from this week.
Not too bad.
Not too bad, so we have a chance of picking up some ground. Hopefully we start off really sharp and continue right through Saturday and keep steamrolling and have a really good week. But the first game we're going to get into is Friday night, 7 o'clock, undefeated Western Michigan at Ohio. Ohio is getting 19.
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters. West Michigan is one of those teams that they're undefeated for a reason. Yes, they're playing in a crappy conference, but in the same sense, they're dominating.
Apparently, all the good players went there, and they're a team of destiny within their division because they have just been kicking everybody's ass. It doesn't matter who it is. I mean, yeah, you can lay 19 points. They're probably going to win the game by 28.
Easily.
That's probably, I mean, literally, that's what's probably going to end up happening. I don't see Ohio winning.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this is what, the third week in a row now we've had to pick Western Michigan?
Yeah, we've had no problem laying points.
And they've been laying big points.
Yeah, we laid almost double this shit last week.
Oh, yeah, and I think like almost more than, like just about the same amount the week before that.
Right, and it didn't matter.
They covered every time.
Easily.
So I'm saying I'm comfortable with taking Western Michigan at minus 19.
Absolutely.
And just to let you know, 78% agreed with us, according to Yahoo. All right, our next Friday game's a 9 o'clock game. We have our big Pac-10 championship, Colorado at Washington. We just got done talking about this a few minutes ago, badass.
Washington's going to take care of business.
Washington's going to take care of business.
Yes,
Colorado is not going to...
Colorado's going to play good. Don't get me wrong. They're going to play a good game, but in the end, Washington is going to handle business.
I think they'll start off pretty strong, Colorado. They might keep it close through halftime. You know, make us sweat a little bit. But I think Washington will come out in the second half, and they'll start scoring some points. Their defense will start stepping up, and they'll stop Colorado several times. Maybe even intercept them or cause a fumble.
Yeah, they are good at taking the ball away.
So we're going to go ahead and take Washington at minus 7.5. And just to let you know, 70% agreed with us, according to Yahoo. All right, our first Saturday game is a 12 o'clock game. Kansas State at TCU. Kansas State is getting plus 4.5.
I have no faith in Kansas State. The only time I have faith in them is when they're playing in Manhattan. They're not in Manhattan. TCU's the better program, and I'm quite shocked that it's only minus 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 4.5.
I would have laid 10, 14 points, so I safely assume that Texas Christian minus 4 should be a winner. TCU should not lose this game. Now watch them come out and take a shit, and Kansas State's going to roll them up. But they should not lose this game.
No, TCU should definitely not lose this game. I mean, Kansas State is a pretty scrappy squad, but TCU is the better team.
Yes.
Definitely. And 4.5 is not that much.
In their house, yeah.
In their house? Yeah, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and take TCU at minus 4.5. And just to let you know, it was almost a virtual coin toss, according to Yahoo, with 53-47 TCU.
I mean, the only reason Kansas State has an edge is maybe it's because of their coach and Bill Snyder. But every time they go on the road, they've not done well. Not on the road.
No, they haven't.
Not on the road.
They play good at home.
But not on the road.
But not on the road. All right, our next game is another noon game. Temple at Navy. Temple is getting plus 3.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Plus 3.
Navy.
Yeah, definitely Navy.
Navy. That's not even... The 3, I thought that it should have been followed with a 0. I thought you were going to say 30, not 3. But
I mean, Temple is another one of those teams that are more of a basketball squad than a football squad.
No, they've been getting a lot better in football. They really have. But Navy should be able to easily whip their ass by more than 3 points.
I definitely agree. So we're going to go ahead and take Navy at minus 3. And pretty much it was a virtual domination on this one. 93-7.
Oh, the fix is in.
Navy.
This is how casinos get built in the desert.
All right, so we move on to our next game. Oh, you're going to love this, badass. You're gonna be so thrilled about this game. It's a 12 o'clock game. Troy at Georgia Southern. Try to say that 10 times fast. That's all, folks. Try to say it 10 times. Georgia Southern Georgia Southern is getting +7.
You know what? Georgia Southern is a good football team. They really are. So is Troy, by the way, because I watched them play Clemson early in the year.
Oh, I did
And
too.
Clemson apparently had some issues with little ass Troy. But this is going to be a good football game. It really is. And Georgia Southern should outright win this game. But I'm going to take Troy in those points. Georgia Southern's going to win, but I like Troy in that touchdown.
Troy, so you think Troy's going to win by more than a touchdown? They're at -7. Georgia Southern is getting +7.
Oh, see.
See,
Never mind. I was actually confused there for a second. Oh.
I just make
Oh,
you,
I thought-
that make you rethink now?
Yeah, I'm dyslexic. You know, I'm a dyslexic over here, not looking at things
I
right.
can't say Georgia Southern and you're dyslexic.
Oh man, you know what? This game's gonna put the fucking mojo on it. You know what? I've seen Troy in action. Take Troy.
All right,
They
so
are good.
we're going to take Troy at -7, and just let you know, according to Yahoo, 72% agreed with us. All right, so we have our next game. Oh, another lovely game we have. Louisiana Tech at Western Kentucky. Louisiana Tech is getting +9.5.
Snooze fest.
Wah, wah, wah.
Snooze fest.
Wah, wah, wah.
Western Kentucky is pretty good at their own house. And that's a very high over-under. The over-under's at 81.
Wow, so
It's
this is going to be
shootout.
it's gonna be a shootout and it's going to be high
At the
scoring.
OK Corral, yeah, it's going to be high. Oh, man, but La Tech's a pretty good team. But
Well, that takes a pretty good team, but I truly believe Western Kentucky is actually could be the better team here.
oh, man, I know, but
But
there's
that's a point is a lot.
Yeah, take the points. I have a feeling we won't regret it.
All right, and just to let you know, according to Yahoo, 21% agreed with us.
No, not the popular opinion.
Not the popular opinion, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to throw dick on the table and just go with the pick. And take the 9.5. I mean, 9.5 is a lot of points, especially against two teams that, again, what was it again? What's this game again? I can't remember.
Snooze fest.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't know much about either one of these teams. I mean, we know Louisiana Tech's not a bad team. Western Kentucky is not a pretty decent team.
They're like your little brother. They're up and coming. They're doing all right, but they're still your little brother.
So we're going to go ahead and take Louisiana Tech at +9.5. All right, now we get back to the real games. 12:30 game. Oklahoma State at Oklahoma. Oklahoma State is getting +11.
A lot of points to give a rival.
That is a lot of points to give a rival.
Oklahoma's going to win this game, but that is a lot of points to give your rival.
Is Oklahoma going to win by 2 touchdowns?
Oh, man. I know they're going to win the game, but damn, I don't know they're going to win it by that much. I think we should take Oklahoma State in a lot of
I'm
points.
actually liking Oklahoma State at +11.
Me too, because that's a
Because
lot of
Oklahoma
points.
State, I mean, they're a pretty scrappy bunch.
To be fair, though, I hate to just hammer on you Gamecock fuckers, but
Here we
y'all
go
were
again.
getting 24 points last week, and hell, it wouldn't have done you no good. Hell, they could have given you 48 goddamn points. It wouldn't have mattered. I mean, let's just face it. Y'all got took to the woodshed, and we pushed your shit in, and you screamed for mercy, and we gave you none.
But getting back to this game, Oklahoma State is a scrappy bunch. And I'm saying that Oklahoma's going to win this game, but they're probably going to win by a touchdown. Or maybe even a field goal.
Yeah, or they could run away with it.
Or they
at
could
the
run away
end.
with it.
But then again, the over-under is high, so they're expecting a shootout. And I expect so, too. Not a lot of defense is going to be being played here. I like those points.
All right, so we'll go ahead and take Oklahoma State at +11. And just to let you know, the virtual coin toss, 47% took Oklahoma State and 53% took Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Wow. You can tell he's getting to the end of the season. Some of these games, I'm telling you, you're just going to be like, ugh. Saturday, 1 o'clock. North Mexico State at South Alabama. North Mexico State is getting +11.5. I'm trying to be excited about this, but I just
I feel like I gotta go take a shit now.
I just faked it there.
Yeah, no. You know what? Nobody goes to fucking New Mexico State to play football. You go out to the desert to fucking get sand in your ass crack and to wrestle Like, you don't do anything out there in the desert but sweat and be in pain. South Alabama is a football school, and they're heavily favored for a reason. I'm taking the fucking Southerners. I'm taking Alabama squad over your bullshit desert squad any day.
All right, so we're taking South Alabama at minus 11.5. And just to let you know, according to Yahoo, 80% agreed with us. They thought South Alabama was definitely going to win this game.
Well, New Mexico State's quarterback ain't going to be playing either. They're saying he's doubtful.
Oh, yeah. No. If you're going with a second-string quarterback against South Alabama, it's not going to end well.
No, because South Alabama is actually on TV around here late at night on them like really shitty channels where you're like, it looks like some old fucker did this on a camcorder. But they can play. Believe me, they can play.
All right, so we have our next game. Louisiana Lafayette at Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Monroe is getting +7.
It sounds like a great big drunken raging Cajun party.
It does.
It sounds like there's just going to be like, ooh, what's that there? Ooh. It's going to be a bunch of drunk people eating crawdads and sipping liquor.
You're badass. You did that really well.
Yeah, I've spent some time down there.
Do it again.
No.
Come on, do it again.
Nah, I've spent some time down there. I have great respect for the Cajun people.
I do too. I love that.
Ooh, there, look at that getter.
Yeah, I just love it. It makes me laugh. Every time, it just makes you smile. I love that. That accent is just...
Ooh, Bobby, it's me, Daddy. Roberto. I saw you on the ESPNs. We could get rich like Tiger Woods and his daddy.
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
You and Rob always did like that shit when I'd pull that one out.
Oh, yeah. That and your Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, we'll leave that one for another day.
Yeah, your wife doesn't like that one.
No, hell no.
You get your ass busted for that one.
Yeah, I'm too good at that one.
And what's great is that I'm the great instigator.
Yeah?
I can instigate it, and I'll say something just to strike it, make him do it. And he'll do it without even thinking about it. And then he'll be like, oh.
And then smack to the back of the head.
Yep, it's a smack back to the back of the head. But getting back to the game, Louisiana Monroe is getting +7. What do you think about this game?
I'm thinking we're going with them raging fucking Cajuns.
I just like the name.
The raging Cajuns.
I'm picking this. I know we've gone off the reservation this game this week. I'm taking this team just because I like their name.
I'll tell you what, if you know the right people in Louisiana, you go on the reservation and you ain't got to apply no fucking rules. Pretty fun.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take the Raging Cajuns at -7. And just to let you know, 70% of Yahoo agreed with us. All right, back to the real world. Saturday, 3:30, Baylor at West Virginia. Baylor is getting +17.
Yeah, you know what? They're probably going to need it.
I definitely agree.
They're going to.
I love West Virginia.
Hey, Chad Morris is going to Baylor. I think Baylor. Next head coach there is going to be Chad Morris. I really do.
You think so?
I think so.
That could be interesting.
It would be.
But I like Country Roads. Country Roads plays great at home. They've never done us wrong at home, except for that one time when they played Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a good team because they're in the ACC championship.
So you think Country Roads is going to run them out of Morgantown?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You think that 17 don't matter?
I say 17 don't matter.
I'm going with your gut on this one because we do like Country Roads.
I mean, they rolled last week. I think they're going to come home and roll again and definitely win this game. And according to Yahoo, 75% agreed with us. They think the old Country Roads is going to win this week. So, Country Roads, they play so great at home. And it's hard not to take them because it's Country Roads.
And not only that, they have a penchant for upsetting Baylor because they've done it multiple times when Baylor is ranked. So you might get to hear the old Country Roads if the winning starts. You hear those people? They get up for those games. They like to do their singing. They like to do their drinking. Their couch burning. They're all about some redneckery up there. It ain't no joke.
I'm definitely confident in taking Country Roads at -17. What do you think?
I'm confident with that.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take Country Roads, West Virginia, -17 at home. And like I said, 75% agree with us, according to Yahoo. All right, next game, the SEC Championship, Alabama at Florida. Alabama is giving Florida plus 24.
You know what?
I know we talked about this earlier, and you said it doesn't matter. Alabama's going to steamroll them, and that's going to be it.
It's pretty much one of those things where Alabama's going to roll in and just be like, hey, what's going on here? What's y'all's names? And Florida's going to be like, we're the Florida. It doesn't matter what your name is. It's going to be a rock moment. It really is, because Nick Saban and company are going to come on in there. They're going to whip the Gators' ass. I don't even know why anyone thinks this is going to be a fucking game. You could give Florida 35 fucking points. It does not matter. I'm not taking fucking Florida. Their offense
is atrocious.
It's a fucking limp dick could do more damage than fucking Florida's offense. I mean, are you serious? I mean, my God.
You know, and I'm looking at Yahoo, and you'd be surprised at what Yahoo has it at.
It's a virtual tie. It's fucking insane.
51-49 going for Alabama. They have a virtual coin toss.
You know what? There's some bullshit afoot. Because that's a lot of points. I know. Yes, that is a lot of points.
Are they just
I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. Alabama is the better squad. This game is not going to be close.
They lost to Florida State last week, and Florida State is in shambles.
And they're going to show up to play for all of about 10 minutes until Alabama whips their ass, and they're going to be like, shit, this isn't good.
You're comfortable taking Alabama at minus 24.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Our next game, 5 o'clock Saturday game, Georgia State at Idaho. Georgia State is getting plus 6.5.
This is one of those games where, honestly, I don't know a whole lot about either team. Again, Idaho is the favorite, and it's probably because they're playing all the way out there, and they got to go to their house. But, I mean, Georgia State's probably the better team. But I'm going to go with the home team on this one because, it's not easy getting on that bus or getting on the plane, traveling all the way out there and playing a fucking football game.
No, it's not.
That time zone shit and jet lag fucks with you. And this is not a professional. This team does not do that shit often, so I think it's going to have a very big effect on their schedule, on their routine. And Idaho is just going to show up and say, hey, it's another day at the office, and we're going to get a quality win over an East Coast team.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take Idaho at minus 6.5. And just to let you know, 83% agreed with us, according to Yahoo. They think that Idaho is going to win this game. Quick question for you. Do you know what Idaho's name is?
Potato pickers?
Nope. The Vandals.
The Vandals?
The Idaho Vandals.
All right, well, for y'all that don't know what a vandal is, a vandal is somebody who commits fucking acts of aggression against your property with, say, spray paint or some kind of damage. And there's also the Vandals that were Vikings from way back in the fucking day in your ancient history classes. And I'm pretty sure there's neither of those fucking things in the middle of fuck me in the ass Idaho. So you should have picked a fucking potato spud. I'm sorry. A fucking French fry would have been better. Fucking goddamn Vandals. Fuck out of here.
All right, so we have our first Saturday night game. Arkansas State at Texas State. Texas State is getting plus 23.
Again, another snooze fest. 2 games. You know what I know about Arkansas State? My cousin, who is like a grown woman, used to date a man-child from there. It's strange. I'm not going to go into it. It's weird. But that's all I know about Arkansas State. They're out in the middle of fuck nowhere. Texas State's out in the middle of fuck nowhere. Both of them, if you go there to that school, you're going fuck nowhere.
But the thing about it is Arkansas State's traveling out to Texas State. In this game.
Apparently Texas State sucks, though, really bad.
Apparently, because they're giving them 23.
They're giving a road team 23 points, and that means it's probably going to be a blowout coming on the way, so we better lay those points.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, definitely lay them points.
Even though we know nothing about either of these poop dick squads.
Yep. Speaking of poop dick squads, our next game, 7:45 game, San Diego State at Wyoming. Wyoming is getting plus 7.
You know what? The very one time we took San Diego State, they got blown out by like 40 points.
Yep.
And you know what? And I remember we took them to get their ass kicked in another game and to score the least amount of points, and they did both.
Exactly.
And I think Wyoming's going to kick their ass just like the other teams have kicked their ass all this year.
You're comfortable with taking Wyoming +7?
Oh, yeah.
You think they'll outright win this game, and
Yeah.
the 7 points aren't even going to matter?
No.
Yeah, again, a lot of these games this week, guys, it's hard to pick them because guess what?
These are no names.
These are no-name schools that are playing. There's only a few games that we're picking from this week that are actually real games.
And I'm sorry to all those who are actual alumni of these said schools. And if we offend you little snowflakes, there is a safe zone for you to go be triggered in. But you're all a bunch of fucking nobodies, okay? Get the fuck over it. You ain't Alabama. You ain't Clemson. You're not playing for a national title. So no one gives a shit about your team. And for that, 0 fucks given.
There you go. 0 fucks given. All right. So our next game, the ACC Championship game. Clemson at Virginia Tech, which is not really at Virginia Tech because they're playing in Orlando. Clemson is giving Virginia Tech +10. And I'm kind of with you this week. It doesn't matter. +10 is being nice. I think Clemson's going to come out. They're going to come out to play because they're a team that is driven this year, and their goal has been to get to a championship. The first goal was to go undefeated. They didn't do that, but they had a really good season. They had a 10-win season.
And it seems like that loss to Pitt was like a pressure release valve. It really was. Because ever since that, our minds have been on the prize.
Oh, definitely. You can see it in Watson. You can see it in Dabo. You can see it in all the players. Scott.
It's almost as if they needed that pain.
They needed that little kick in the nuts just to say, hey, back to reality real quick. But guess what? Now it's time to step up and do work and go win a championship.
And you know one thing about Dabo's squad, they got heart. Everybody brings the heart.
Now, are you surprised that it's only 10 points in this game?
No, because there's some matchup issues. Like we were talking about earlier in the pre-show for this one. I'm really seeing a lot of that tight end is going to be a big deal for us. That Bucky boy is going to be something different because, yes, he's huge, but he's also a huge target, and he's going to be able to actually eat us up on a couple of passes. And, again, their defense, the last time we played them, only had 2 looks. Now they have 6. So it's going to take us a little bit longer to figure it out. Now, believe me, we have one of the smartest quarterbacks, if not the smartest quarterback in the game. You're not going to fool them for long. You're going to have your moments, but in the end, I think the talent, we're too talented, we're too deep, we have far too many rotations, we can put fresh body after fresh body after fresh body in on you. And you know what? I don't give a damn how good you are unless you're Alabama good. If you've got a team where they're putting in dudes and substituting guys who are almost as good as a guy they just replaced and they're actually whipping you on plays, and you only really have one, maybe 2 decent squads, like one good one, one decent one, we're going to wear your asses out because we have too many positions. We got good players all over the field. You know, if you didn't notice, our backup quarterback came in and shit all over South Carolina's first stringers. Our third stringers were shitting on their first stringers. I mean, we got talent on the bench. They're not just taking up space.
Oh, you definitely don't. And I'm telling you, Dabo is built for the future. If you look at his team, yes, granted, they are losing a lot of big players this year. We've talked about this before.
We've been losing big players for 2 straight years.
But we've talked about this before about the post-Watson era and post-Bowl era, but post-Scott era. You know, these guys that are leaving, going into the NFL next year, and trying to get drafted. You know, they're going to lose a lot of big players this year, but guess what? They have other players that are behind them that are going to be just as good as they are, if not better. I mean, granted, you know, I don't know too much about the backup quarterback. I did get a chance to watch him play a little. I got him watch him play a little bit at the spring game, and he looked pretty good.
The spring game.
He looked pretty good. I'll give him, but I mean, he's no Deshaun, but he has the potential to be a pretty good quarterback.
We used to be rebuild, now it's just reload.
That's very true, and that's a lot like a lot of those teams. Alabama, they'll lose 10, 11, 12 players in a season.
Don't matter.
It don't matter. Guess where they're at next season? Championship game.
You don't
undefeated.
rebuild, you just reload.
I love that. You don't rebuild, you reload. I love that. That's very true. But getting back to the game, I'm comfortable taking Clemson at -10. I think they're going to win this game by 3 or 4 touchdowns and dominate.
Something tells me those points might be a winner, but then there's the other part of me my heart's in it too, but my brain's also saying Clemson can turn the lights out on you. I mean, people keep disrespecting us because we had an up and down year, but make no mistake, if we're playing, we will turn your fucking lights off. Ask Boston College, ask South Carolina, ask Syracuse. When we show up to play you, we will turn your fucking lights out.
Oh, and they've done that this year to a couple teams.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and take Clemson at -10. And just to let you know, 75% agree to us, according to Yahoo. All right, so we get into our last game of the night. It is the Big Ten Championship, Saturday, 8 o'clock, Wisconsin, Penn State. Penn State is getting +2.5. Now, I know we talked a little bit earlier. You're saying this is where the bubbles burst.
This is where Penn State hits the wall. I do believe it. It's the biggest game of the year for them. They're on fire, but you know what? Wisconsin is that fucking asshole bunch that just loves putting out fires.
I definitely agree, but
defense is good.
I know. Their defense is really good. But Penn State is just they played so good this year. And I find it hard to believe that Wisconsin's going to be that team that's going to be the one that demises them.
Well, hold on just a second there, Sally. I might have something that you might want to know.
What's that, badass?
Just so you know, huh? Penn State has only lost 2 games.
All right.
They lost to Pittsburgh by 3. They got their asses beat by Michigan.
2 top-tier teams.
But they have beaten everyone else on their schedule, and they've done it rather convincingly in most cases, really convincingly. And then you got Penn State on the other side of this game on the coin, and they've been playing really well, and they've only lost 2 games. And let me tell you something, that ass kicking to Michigan woke them up because they have just been kicking some ass all the way. But Wisconsin's faced a harder schedule. They've had more upper echelon teams. I'm just really seeing that defense coming alive. I really am seeing Wisconsin finally putting the brakes on Penn State. I think Penn State has not truly faced a defense like Wisconsin's. And I know that they've maybe Michigan's. Nobody else really has that hard line of a defense. And Ohio State did, but they got lucky. They did. They got lucky against Ohio State, and they did it. But I just don't think – I think this is where the mojo runs out, dude. I really do. Something just tells me that flaming train that is Penn State's about to hit that ice wall.
And, I mean, it's only 2.5, too, which is a small line. It's a virtual pick 'em.
Exactly.
I mean, yes, granted, they're saying that they think Wisconsin's going to win by more than a field goal. And I can see that because Wisconsin is a good team. The defense is tough. Yes, Penn State's offense is very, very potent and very good, and they can score at will. But when they play high-tier teams with good defenses, they've struggled.
This game could go either way, but something's telling me Wisconsin's going to do it.
My heart says go with the Nittany Lions, but I'm going to go with my head this time and agree with you, badass. We'll go ahead and take Wisconsin at -2.5. And just to let you know, the virtual coin toss, according to Yahoo, was 55% the Badgers, 45% Nittany Lions.
Believe me, it's hard not to take Penn State plus the points. I mean, most people would say you're crazy not doing it. I just have this feeling in my gut that Wisconsin is going to show Penn State that, yes, you're up and coming, but not yet. Not right yet. Not only that, I think it does the College Football Playoff Committee a great big justice if Wisconsin wins this game, because if Penn State wins, then they got a whole line of headaches. And I think Wisconsin's going to do them a favor and alleviate the headache.
All right, so that's the last of our games. Now we get into our tiebreakers. And our first one is The game we just talked about, Wisconsin at Penn State, and what the final score is going to be.
I'm seeing a low-scoring ball game. I'm not liking a whole lot of points to be scored with such good defensive battle. I'm really seeing something ugly and low.
Like a 20-13?
No, I'm going lower.
Really?
I'm thinking we're going to see something like 16-7. Yeah, low.
Wow.
Real low.
So we're going to go ahead and take Wisconsin at 16.
You can go 16-9 if it makes you feel better.
All right, we'll go 16. Nittany Lions 9. All right, and our next tiebreaker is the Pac-10 championship, Colorado at Washington.
This one I see Washington having a high-scoring affair. I'm liking a 41-17, 41-24 Washington win.
What do you think, 41-24?
Yeah, 41-21, something like that. I think Washington's going to outpace them.
We'll do 42-21. All right. Who will score the most points this week?
Yeah, that's a hard question. There's a lot of good games being played, but you know what? I'm going to go with, crazy as it sounds, go with Oklahoma State.
All right, so we can go with Oklahoma State. Let's find them here. Oops, not Oklahoma. Wrong one. There we go. This is going to be a fun one. Who's going to score the least amount of points?
Ohio.
That was quick.
They're getting goose-egged.
Because we have a lot of shit teams this week.
They're getting goose-egged by Western Michigan. That's happening.
All right, so
I called it last week that they were getting whoever played them was getting goose-egged, and they got goose-egged.
All right, so we're going to go with Ohio. All right, so that's going to do it for this week. Week 14 is in the books. I'm going to hit save. And our picks are in now. It's official. And that's going to do it for this week. We had, a lot of crap games this week. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. Because we don't know a lot of these teams. We don't know a lot about. But also there's games this week that are going to play into the playoffs. So they're going to be interesting to watch too.
That's very true. It's a mixed bag. You got a lot of good games and you got a lot of shit games. It's kind of it's an equal mix of both.
Yep. So that is going to do it for this week. I didn't get a chance to upload our show from last week to Facebook or YouTube because I had a lot going on this week. A lot of you don't know, my parents came down from Delaware to visit, so I spent a lot of time with them, and I started a new job. Part-time job, so I was pretty busy this week, and I didn't get a chance to mess with it this week. So tomorrow,
I think people will forgive you. Thanksgiving was this last week,
and it was Thanksgiving too. So we have a lot going on, but I'm definitely gonna get this week's uploaded, last week's uploaded, all the weeks before uploaded for you guys to listen to. Have fun, listen to them. Tell us what you think. Bitch at us, moan, hate. We don't care because
we really don't. You want to hate. You want to fucking blow steam, do it. You want to suck our dicks, you know what? Fine, go for it. But we are who we are. We're just two guys from South Carolina
doing what we love, doing our picks, and we have nothing in for this. We're not Vegas guys.
We're not Vegas.
We're just two guys from South Carolina, doing our picks, doing what we love. We're two blue-collar guys.
We're two black guys?
No, I didn't say two black guys. Whoa. We're just two blue-collar guys. I almost said black guys again, so you got me saying it now. We're just two blue-collar guys doing picks, doing what we love, trying to make you guys enjoy what you listen to. So definitely go check us out. Burger and Badass Show at Facebook.com. We're going to keep doing this each week. We're going to get into next week. We have a few games that we're going to get the pick from. Week after is going to be the start of the bowl games, getting to it, all that kind of stuff. We have a really cool thing coming up we're going to tell you about. It's a cool game that we're going to be interactive. We're going to get on right before we do our show on Wednesday night. We're going to tell you to put into the comment box your name. And we're gonna start picking names out, and we're gonna play a game.
We got to work the kinks out. We're in the final stages of working out the kinks. But once we've got it on the finished, polished product, we will start playing this game because it's a fun game.
Me and Badass started this game, and we really enjoyed it. And it was fun. And we were like, man, we should try to bring that concept to the radio.
Yeah, we just got to clean it up and make it really, and just make it fun. That's all we got to do.
And what it is called music baseball. It's a thing where we take a clip from YouTube of, depending on what genre we want to do, take that genre, just put on a random clip of 100 top hundreds of that songs, of like 100 rock songs, top whatever. And we play baseball with it, and we decide whether it's a single, a double, a triple.
Whoa, you're gonna get them confused. We'll save it for later, man. We don't want to get them confused.
I know. I know. I'm so excited about it.
I know, but we don't want to get them confused.
You know me. I get a concept going, and I get excited.
They're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" You're gonna.
I know. We gotta work some kinks out, but we're gonna get it. But
you are gonna enjoy it.
You're gonna enjoy it. Trust me. Once we get the
promise.
kinks out, you're gonna love it. It's a fun game to play.
It's like when I took the game of Stump from South Carolina to Delaware. They all looked at me like I was fucking crazy, but by the end of the night, everybody was having fun with it.
Oh, definitely. I love Stump. Stump's a cool game. If you guys know what Stump is, look it up. Go to YouTube, type in Stump, and you'll probably see somebody playing this game.
That's how rednecks get down here.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week. All our picks are in, logged in, ready to go. We'll see you guys next week. We do this show every Wednesday night around 9:30ish. So, definitely go check us out on Facebook at Burger and Badass Show at Facebook.com. And till next week, we'll see you guys later for Burger and Badass.
Y'all go put up your fucking Christmas trees with your kids, you fucking degenerates.
All right, guys. So we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Adios.